How do you price up a website? It's a common question you're going to see on forums. We get asked it a lot. Basically, there'll be a lot of other videos out there. Firstly, there is no right or wrong answer. It is very, very subjective to you, your business model, the client, their budget, if they're a business, and also what are their expectations or what are they trying to get out of it. More importantly, what does the website mean to them? I'm going to reveal to you the way I like to price up websites, and in tomorrow's video, I'm going to be sharing a website pricing matrix for you that does a few calculations after you've added in a few more details, and it goes a step further as well. I'm going to talk about some of that today, but please look out for tomorrow's video where you're going to get a pricing matrix for free. First off the bat, let's understand that not every website is equal, okay? When someone says, I want a website built, what is your price? Do they mean a one-page website or do they mean a multi-page website? Could be 5, 10, or 100. And even if you had a one-page website and another one-page website, again, they are not completely equal. This one might only be, say, 3 sections or 3 containers, whereas this one is about 50, all on one page. There's a ton of information. The time it takes to create that is probably 10 times more than it takes to do that. So be very careful about how you price up. But what you really should be considering, regardless of the kind of website, right? Regardless of the content or the functionality or the features, is a baseline price. So this is the lowest of the low price that you would charge for a basic website. Now, the basic website could be template driven. So it might be that you will get a template or a theme that comes with a particular style after you've signed off and approved it with your client. You're going to install it, and of course, you'll change the logo, maybe some of the content, but in terms of the look of it, it's very much driven by the template with a theme. You might tinker with the colors, or it might be, no, this is exactly the look we're going for, and this is what we're going to do. I'm not a massive fan of that. I know from a turnkey solution, or if you want to spit out websites at a really rapid, quick rate, this can work for you. But it also creates this big danger that the website will look like someone else's website. Even though you change the logo and the content, it's very much like, I can see where you got that from. So I'm not a massive fan of that. But the lowest of the low is, what would you charge? So for a very basic one-page website, and I'm talking about very basic, there's not a lot going on, and there'll be some content and images. It might be a maximum of 4 or 5 sections or containers, obviously the header and the footer as well. One page, we're going to start at 980 British pounds. I'm not going to convert into pesos or dollars or anything like that. You can go and work it out. Now, I do want to point out, though, that if based on your geographical location, your basic one-page website is $50 or $30, I don't want people watching this video to start laughing. No, because in some countries around the world, $50 is a lot of money. So please be respectful of everyone's geographical location. But we're going to start at £980. That is the price for a basic one-page website, okay? The homepage, in essence. Even if the website is 20 pages long, my homepage on its own is £980. I want to cast that in stone now. Then I start thinking about what are the other pages you require. So if it's a one-page, £980. If it's a 5-page website, the homepage is still £980. The other 4 pages, again, you got to think about the content, the features, the functionality. What are they going to have on there? What does the client need? At the same time, though, don't just go with what the client needs. What do you think they need? Do you want to rein them in? Do you want to pull them back and go, no, that's too busy now. Let's think a little bit more about what we're doing here. So I like to price up every other page at 35% of the homepage. So if my homepage is £980, every other page, and I do round it up with decimal placing and all of that, 35% of 980 is going to come to 343. Now you might want to pull that down to 340 because you want to make it a nice round number. The cost goes up to £2,340 British pounds, and a lot of you are going to go, None of my clients are going to pay that amount of money. Well, consider the value of what you bring, your skill set, your reputation. Did you reach out to them or did they reach out to you and they want to work with you? So even though a one-page homepage or just the page is $980, the extra 4 pages takes the cost up to $2,340. Now, if I charge $980 per page, we'd be going up to now $4,500, whatever. So the $2,300 is relative to the 35% per extra page. Now, if any of this sounds complicated, please do not worry. There is a very simple pricing matrix built in Excel that you can use online for free that will do a lot of the calculations for you. And it spits out the value as well. Trust me, it's free and simple. Look out for that. And if you are watching this video after I've already released it, the link for that calculator or the matrix will be in the video description. So you got no excuse not to go and check that out. Other prices start to kick in, regardless of whether it's a 1-page, a 5-page, or a 20-page website. If they decide they're going to have a blog, are you going to charge for setting that up? Now, when I say blog, I'm not talking about the number of posts yet. I'm talking about ensuring that it's all built up in terms of the archive and maybe some filtering as well. The way I like to approach it is that if you want a blog, and this is nothing to do with me adding in your posts, right? This is just setting up the blog archive and the single post template, maybe a filter system as well. I charge 50% of my homepage. So if my homepage is $980, it's going to be 50% of that, which is 490 British pounds. And again, you might go, my client's not going to go for that. Or maybe you think I'm underselling it. That's entirely okay as well. I'm giving you some example values here. So if you would charge a lot more, you can do. Remember, this is not adding in posts, just the archive, maybe the search results archive bit as well, the single post template, and maybe a filtering system. And by the way, normally with the filtering system, the price will probably go up a bit more if there's more settings and things to manage. Now, if your client also wants you to help them add in posts, I might offer them a little bit of support and say, okay, we might do the first 1, 2, or 3 posts as part of that 490. 50% of the homepage cost, right? 490. If, however, they want us to do 6 posts, so we're going to offer 3 for free, okay, but they want 6. So now they've got to pay for the other 3. Well, we're going to charge them a rate of £60 per additional post. Now, this is a value that you can basically decide on. You might charge them £20, £50, £100. Of course, you've got to bear in mind the complexity of the post. I'm assuming it's just a standard post with like images and text. There might be the table of contents, maybe not. But if it's a very complicated post, weigh up the time it's going to take for you to do that. Okay, so I'm just going to go within a rate of £60. So we got 6 posts, 3 of them we'll give for free. The other 3 we will do for £60 a post. 60 times 3, 180. Can you see how? I mean, I've only scratched the surface at the moment. You start off with a website price. Everyone's,
hey, give me your website price, I want a quote.
And you just reel off a price. You haven't even fully considered yet exactly what they want. And are you like undercutting yourself, underpricing? So don't do that. Start to understand what they want. And if you can use a matrix, you can use what we're going to give you. You can use a bit of paper. You can use something on your wall. Go with what works for you. But you need to strategize because it's going to enable you to start scaling your prices upward. And if ever you have to break it down to your client, hey, that's too much. Well, here's the breakdown. Okay, you say you can't afford all of this. So what do you want to lose? Okay, you're not happy with the price? Well, okay, we will not help you out with the blog post. Okay, we'll set it up, but we won't add the posts in individually for you. All right, you want 20? Well, you can't afford it, so why don't we pull that back? What can you do? All right, give them a bit of that power to make that decision as well. So now let's move on to another add-on, e-commerce. So let's say the client now wants WooCommerce or whatever solution we want in there. I will now charge the setup of the e-commerce or the WooCommerce bit as 100% of the homepage cost. So if the homepage was $980 and you now want WooCommerce, you will pay an extra 980 British pounds. Okay, that's the way it is. That's for me to set up your shipping, all of that, sort everything out. This is not the products though. Okay, this is just setting up your shop, your payment gateway, all of that. If, however, I feel like we're going to be going into more hassle because of your payment gateway, you've not set up your PayPal or your Stripe, I will add on an extra bit for effort, but I'll come on to that right at the end. And this links into the pricing matrix as well, so bear with me on this. So 980 to set up, your shop. So it might be your shop template, your single product template, things like that. Then again, very similar to the post, we're going to decide on, do we show you how to add in products and build 3 products in there or some products in there for free for you? Again, let's say we do 3 products. We'll do 3 of them. We'll add them in for you. If you've only got 3 products, well, you're laughing. That's it. Job done. But what if the client has 6 products? Again, the same scenario. We'll do the first 3 for free. The other 3 you got to pay for. You can do it yourself or we can help you out with that. Again, I'll charge them 60 British pounds per product. So for the extra 3, it's 180 British pounds. Again, your pricing that you set per extra product will depend on the complexity of the product. So is it just, images? Well, obviously images, but just text? Is it going to be text and ingredients? Are you going to have to add extra stuff in for additional? Are you now going to add in lots of variation? Are you going to now have to do lots of particulars with the product? So the more complex it is, the higher your charge goes up. So you can already see how we started at 980, then the extra pages, we built up pricing. You want post, okay, now the number of posts. You want WooCommerce, now the number of products. And everything starts to go upwards. But if the client ever turns around and goes, right, I don't want you to do da-da-da-da-da-da, I just want the homepage, right, that's the cost for the homepage. Whereas if you go and say to them, oh yeah, we'll do it for, I don't know, we'll do it for £3,000, and then they go, right, scratch that, just the homepage. What do? Do you go down to 1,000? And they might go, really? Just for the homepage? How do you justify your pricing now when you're scaling up and scaling down? Now, if there were any other features or functionality, like say appointment booking, you'll have a price for that. SEO tools, you'll have a price for that. Does that include a Google Search Console connection and Google Analytics as well? How do you price that up as well? Even if we go back to a bookings, what about an appointment? Does that now have to link into a payment gateway as well? Maybe the booking isn't just for them. They're part of a team. So now you have to set up for 5 other people as well. Do you just do it for one and then show them how to do it for the others? But if they want you to set it up for the others as well, do you price per person? I would say price up per person. Because it's a bit like many licenses out there. Hey, you get a freebie, whatever. But, if you have a team of 2 people, here's the cost. If you got a team of 10 people, here's a bigger cost for us to set you up with your accounts and your setup. If you have 100 people, now we have to go into the enterprise model and you got to contact us and we got to quote that up. But if you have a pricing matrix, you could do that and very quickly work out the prices without wasting time. Think about any other integrations you might need as well. So it might be obviously the plugin or the theme or whatever. Then there's integrating it. Then there's maybe working through settings as well. So don't just go, yeah, there's a plugin that can do that. Yeah, don't worry, it's included in the price. Really? What if it takes you like 3 or 4 hours to really understand that plugin? And when you do start working on it, you hit an error or a problem. And now you're going to the support forum. You're contacting the developer. 1 or 2 days go by before you get to the right solution. Well, you can't charge the client for that now because it was you said it was part of your price. So maybe consider that even though we're going to do extra stuff for you, was part of the build, what's the cost of you working on that plugin? Because I can tell you now, if you go to your garage and you say to them, hey, I've got a car and I want to fit a new engine in, just because the garage dealer knows you, they're not going to fit the engine in for free. If it's an engine they've never come across before, they might price you up for understanding and then adding it in. And by the way, whether it works or not is almost not on them because you've just said, hey, I want this as well. They're going to do their damn best, and you are paying for their time, and there will be some sort of waiver you got to sign as well. What about licenses now? So let's say you're using Bricks, you're going to pay for that. Elemental, you're going to have the annual license. Are they going to, as part of a care package plan, get that from you and you're going to sell it on? Or are you going to say, no, they've got to get them directly, so they own all of those. So if they stop paying, it's not your problem, it's on them to do it. And for all of these extra licenses, again, make sure you price them up, so that when you give them the cost, they can clearly see this is what the breakdown is. And you don't have to share the full matrix, but it allows you, when you get to do your proposal or your email, please don't do it via WhatsApp or text, do it like via email, give them proper details. You've got something you can refer back to. And if you then decide later on, 980, we're past that as our baseline price is now going to be 2,000 British pounds. Fine, just drop it into the pricing matrix that we will be sharing, and you start scaling up your prices from there. Now, the other thing I do want to talk about is I named all of these areas and items that you need to think about. But there are two things that kick in that often get overlooked, and I hear about them a lot when people are working with websites. And I don't just mean difficult clients, but they do play into what I'm going to talk about. Effort and communication. If our homepage is, by the way, what I'm going to tell you here for the homepage applies to every single line in the pricing matrix as well, okay? Homepage is 980 British pounds. If I think the effort is normal, so it's normal effort, it's 980. If I think the communication is going to be good with the client, because hopefully we've had a call and we've communicated, and I think, yep, content, they're going to get me what I want. I understand we're roughly on the same page. It should be okay. There'll be a few blips, but generally it is good. Again, the cost is 980. However, if I think there's going to be quite a bit of effort, it's not a simple homepage, there's a bit more extra effort going on here, then I will charge an extra 15%. So on top of the 980, there will be 147 for effort. Now, you don't have to kind of say to the client, that's why the cost has gone up, but you kind of build it in. So don't go into them and go, yeah, 980, and then tell them afterwards, oh, it's an extra 147. Give them the price with the 980 plus the 147. And if you think communication is pretty poor, like they're really slow on getting back to you, they take ages to reply to emails, when they do come back to you, it's like one-liners and you're scratching your head, or the content delivery by them, the images are wrong, the wording, just, you feel like this, I mean, you could say communication and effort go hand in hand, but effort is about the build, communication is about you and them. You know, do you have that good working relationship? And if not, again, there's an extra 15%. So if we got a homepage at 980 and I think the effort is high and I think the communication is poor, that 980 now is 1,274. You might want to round it down to 1,270. And that's because you're kind of covering off a little bit here in terms of the extra time and effort you're going to put in. Not everyone will agree with that. And some will say, hey, who cares if it's a lot of effort and, you know, bad comms, just get on with it. Believe me, when you've gone through one of those scenarios where the client takes their time, dragging their feet, or when you start building it, they're like, oh, I've kind of changed my mind a little bit, or you realize there's more effort that goes in. Adding on an extra 15% for the effort and an extra 15% for the comms is not a bad idea. And I apply that logic not just to your homepage, to your other pages, to your posts, to your WooCommerce, to everything else you're going to do. If I think the comms is going to be bad, I want to make sure I get paid for the amount of extra time and effort and the sleepless nights I might have while you're on holiday and I'm waiting for you to make a decision. I want to round off with two things. Number one, if you want to understand how you can start a web design business and understand your pricing ladder, your scaling, your services, and how you can get more, especially with how to get clients, please do go and check out our mastery modules. Go to our website and we have a super course on how to start a web design business. And very shortly, probably tomorrow, or if you're watching this on replay, it's already out and the link is in the video description. Go and check out our website pricing matrix, okay? And I'm going to go through all of that in another video as well if you ever want to watch that. But that is going to break down and make very clear how you want to be thinking about your website pricing. So stop putting questions out there. How much should I charge for a website? Well, no one knows your baseline. No one knows how much you would add on extra for e-commerce or posts. No one knows how you like to build. I don't know if it takes you 20 weeks to build a WooCommerce website or 1 or 2 days. How much do you value your time? Do you work with other people? Do you have a team? Do you have overheads? You're going to know the answer to this. But you can start with a baseline, right? Basic home page. And then you go on from there. And you can work it out. Hey, I'm Imran Web Squadron, and I hope you like, subscribe, share, and follow. And I'll see you soon.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag.